Hello everyone. Today I'm going to give a demo of our tool, the Tricorrelation Dashboard. I'm going to explain how it works and how would one go about using the tool. So when you land on this page, there are different diagrams over here, all 6 figures. So I'm going to explain you what each of these represent. The first diagram right here, the US map, is for various causes of death. And then you have a slider right here, which can be used to slide between various years. The second map here represents economic data. It also has a slider to select different years. The third map right over here describes political data. What was the US House votes by party at a given year. And this also has a slider to switch between different years. There is this bar graph right over here on bottom left. This is for a graphical representation of various causes of death. This diagram breaks down into various causes and how they affected, what was the number of deaths at that state at a given year, which will be updated based on what you click or what you want to view on this diagram. I'll come to this diagram at the end, but the diagram on bottom right is first showing political data. And it shows what was the number of votes, percentage of votes received by Democrat, Republican, or third party at a selected state at a given year. So this diagram in the middle is the most interesting diagram. If you wanted to see a trend of how a cause of death was, how economic factor was, or how a political data was, then you would use this diagram. So there are these buttons right over here: toggle health data, toggle economic data, and toggle political data, which is used to specify if you want to see a trend on a plot. So this is the diagram, and I will describe you how to use this as well. First of all, let's start with the bar graph for causes of death. How would you go about using this? Let's say you want to see what were various causes of death in Virginia in 2013. So you'd go select Virginia, and then you'd go 2013, and then you can see cancer was killing a lot of people in that year in 2013. There's also this title, which gives you an assurance that you're seeing the right thing that you want to see. It confirms if you did the right thing. So here, Virginia 2013, I think that's what you wanted to see. That's what we wanted to see. So we're on the right thing. Now, if we wanted to see a trend of how death of people has been over the years because of cancer in Virginia, we would go to this diagram. So upon selection, the visibility turned on, and we can see it's been increasing over the years. So not a good thing. We want number of people to dying of disease to go down, but this is what the data is. If you want to study any increase or decrease, or how it's been behaving, you could use this. This also has a way of seeing if you're studying the right thing. Virginia, death by suicide, that's what we wanted to see, and then that's what we have right over here. Now, if you want to switch to cancer, and then for Virginia, then we see an updating graph, and we see a decrease. So that's a good thing. So that's how you would go about seeing a trend in this diagram right over here. Now, this diagram right over here, it is for the political data. So if you want to see what was the vote percentage in Virginia in year 2012, you go select 2012, and you select Virginia, and then you see Republican won by some margin, 50.17. So this also has a way of saying that you're on the right thing, right track. So you see Virginia 2012. And then if you wanted to see a trend over years, you'd come to this map and see. So for now, I just want to focus my political data. So what we have this causes of death as well. Also, these line graphs are color coded. So blue matches with blue, which is, so this blue is our political data. This red is our cause of death. We don't want to see that. So we can just turn the visibility off, and there we go. So now we can see the vote percentage decreasing from 2006 to 2008. Then it kind of went up, decrease, and increase. So that is what we see. The map in the middle gives you what was you can select anything that you want to see. Let's say GDP, and then let's select Virginia in year 2014, and I don't want to see political data, so I'll turn that off. And then we can see the GDP of Virginia, which is confirmed by this title right over here, has been decreasing over the years. So that is something we can see, and that is how I would go about seeing a trend versus seeing the exact number or seeing it in a graph. Now, to establish a relationship in between two diagrams, what I would have to do is I will have to make sure that I am comparing between the same state. So I'm here on Virginia, which is good. Virginia, that's good. Let's say I want to see how GDP and number of people dying with cancer has any relation at all. So I'm going to select cancer, and then I'm going to select Virginia. So Virginia death by cancer and GDP. As there is a decrease in GDP, we can see somewhat of a decrease, I would say. So that is how I would go about finding a relationship between these two variables. Now, if I want something else, I would have to change to, let's say if I want to do unemployment rate, I'll click on unemployment rate and then select Virginia. And I see an update right over here and draw out whatever relationship I wanted from the diagram. So this is how I would go about doing that. Now, if I want to see a relationship in between economic data and political data, I would turn this off and I would select Virginia and then see how unemployment rate has affected percentage of vote received by Republican Party over the years. So this can be done as well. I see this tool being useful for political campaigns if we expand the data set. Now, if I want to get fancy, get complicated, and add more, like describe all three of them, I would just turn the visibility on for that. And I can see if there is any relationship or if there is not. So this is how I would go about establishing a relationship. So we have bar chart, we describe what were various causes and their numbers at a given year. Also, one quick thing, if I want to see a total number of deaths, I would go to state and hover over it, and it will show me exactly what was total. And I have this paragraph right over here for describing percentage of votes, and the line chart right in the middle for seeing a trend or establishing relationship in between two or more maps on top right over here. So this is the tool, and it's pretty easy to use. Once you keep playing with the tool for 5 to 10 minutes, you kind of figure it out on your own. Thank you.